You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success.
Welcome to our deep dive into customer retention automation. You want to build a loyal customer base, and we've got the perfect mix of research and case studies. To help you get there, we'll cover the why, the what, and most importantly, the how of using automation to create those raving fans.
It's interesting how business trends shift. We went from chasing every new lead to realizing that sometimes the best growth strategy is keeping the customers you already have happy.
That makes a lot of sense. What's the impact of a business switching its focus from just acquiring new customers to prioritizing the retention of existing customers?
Focusing on retaining existing customers can be a game changer. For businesses, the research here suggests that even a small 5% increase in your customer retention rate can boost profits by a whopping 25% to 95%. That's huge.
That is impressive. So how do we measure how well we are doing when it comes to keeping customers around? I've heard the term customer retention rate, or CRR. What exactly is CRR, and why is it important?
CRR basically tells you what percentage of your customers stick around over a specific period. Let's say you start with 100 customers, and 90 of them are still with you at the end of the year. That's a 90% CRR, which is a fantastic indicator of customer loyalty. Think about how that impacts your bottom line. Consistent revenue, lower acquisition costs, and enthusiastic customers who basically do your marketing for you.
So CRR is like a health check. For customer relationships, it's not just a number. It tells you how happy and loyal your customers are. But manually managing all those relationships can be time-consuming. Is that where automation comes in?
Exactly. Customer retention automation takes a lot of the manual work out of building those relationships. Think of it as having a tireless virtual assistant, sending personalized messages, managing loyalty programs, and collecting feedback, all while you focus on other parts of your business.
Okay, so automation can handle the heavy lifting, which frees up time for us to focus on strategy and innovation. But I'm curious, doesn't automation run the risk of making things feel impersonal? You know those generic mass emails we all get?
That's a valid concern. No one wants to feel like they're just another number in a database. But smart automation is all about personalization at scale. We're not talking about sending the same bland message to everyone. Instead, it's about using data to tailor the experience to each individual customer.
So it's like having the best of both worlds. The efficiency of automation with the personal touch of a handwritten note. Could you give me an example of what that looks like in practice?
Absolutely. Think about email automation. Let's say you own an online store that sells outdoor gear. If someone buys hiking boots from you, you could use automation to send them a follow-up email a few weeks later with a discount on trekking poles or other hiking accessories. It feels personalized and relevant, and it encourages repeat business.
That's a great example. It's not just a random promotion. It's a thoughtful suggestion based on their past purchase. It feels like you're paying attention to their individual needs and preferences. What other tools are in the customer retention automation toolkit? What else should we be considering?
There are a lot of options, depending on your business and your goals. For starters, there's automated onboarding. When a new customer signs up, you can use automation to welcome them with personalized messages, guided tours of your platform, or helpful resources tailored to their specific needs.
Automated onboarding. It's like rolling out the red carpet for new customers, making them feel valued and supported from the very beginning.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What else is there?
We've got email, onboarding. Let's not forget about push notifications. These can be really effective for sending timely reminders, announcing flash sales, or even letting customers know that a product they've been eyeing is back in stock.
I see how push notifications can be helpful, especially for those time-sensitive updates. But I've also received some really annoying push notifications that made me want to delete the app altogether. How do we strike the right balance between being helpful and being intrusive?
That's a great question. The key with push notifications is to be strategic and respectful. Focus on sending notifications that provide genuine value to the customer, not just constant promotions or reminders, and make sure they have control over the frequency and types of notifications they receive.
It all comes back to respecting the customer and their preferences. We want to engage them, not annoy them. What other automation tools do we have at our disposal? I'm ready to dive deeper into this toolkit.
Well, how about feedback surveys? These are a fantastic way to gather valuable insights from your customers. You can trigger surveys after a purchase, a customer support interaction, or even at regular intervals to gauge their overall satisfaction.
Feedback surveys, they're like having a built-in focus group, constantly giving you insights on how to improve your products and services. I like it. What else is there?
We've got onboarding, email, push notifications, feedback surveys, and last but certainly not least, there are loyalty program management tools.
Yeah.
Automated your loyalty program takes the hassle out of rewarding repeat customers. Think about automatically awarding points for purchases, sending birthday discounts, or even creating tiered programs with exclusive perks for your most loyal fans.
That's smart. It gamifies the customer experience and gives them an incentive to keep coming back for more. We've covered a lot of ground here, but I'm craving a real-world example. To tie all of this together, is there a case study or a story that illustrates the power of customer retention automation in action?
Absolutely. Let's talk about a classic example of personalized marketing, the Coca-Cola Share a Coke campaign. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the one where they put people's names on the bottles.
Right.
It seemed like everyone was searching for a bottle with their name on it.
Exactly. They replaced their iconic logo with hundreds of popular names. And it went viral. People were sharing photos of their personalized bottles on social media, and it created a sense of excitement and connection with the brand.
I remember seeing those photos everywhere. It wasn't just about buying a Coke. It was about finding your name, sharing the experience, and feeling like you were part of something special.
That's the beauty of it. It tapped into the power of personalization and created an emotional connection with customers. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, printing names on bottles isn't exactly automation, is it? And you'd be right.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Where does the automation come in?
Think about the logistics involved. In a campaign of that scale, distributing millions of bottles with unique names across the globe, that level of coordination and inventory management definitely relied on sophisticated automation behind the scenes.
That's a good point. So even seemingly simple ideas can be powered by automation in ways we might not always realize. It's about making those big, impactful campaigns happen smoothly and efficiently.
Precisely. And that's just one example. There are countless ways to leverage automation, to create those wow moments for your customers. But it's important to acknowledge that customer retention automation isn't without its challenges.
That's a good point. What are some of the challenges we should be aware of before diving headfirst into the world of automation?
Well, data privacy and compliance are at the top of the list. You're dealing with sensitive customer information, so you need to be incredibly careful about how you collect, store, and use that data. It's not just about avoiding legal trouble. It's about building trust with your customers.
Right, because customers need to know that you're handling their information responsibly. What other challenges should we be thinking about?
Another challenge is finding the right balance between automation and the human touch. We don't want to create a purely robotic experience. Sometimes you just need to talk to a real person, especially if you have a complex issue or you need personalized support.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where automation streamlines things, but human interaction is there when it's needed most. Are there any other challenges we should be aware of?
One more big one, data security. When you're using automation, you're often dealing with large amounts of customer data, which makes you a prime target for hackers. Strong security measures are absolutely essential to protect your business and your customers.
That's a sobering thought. We've got the potential benefits of automation, but also some serious challenges to navigate. Where do we go from here? What's next in our deep dive?
Well, the future of customer retention is incredibly exciting. We're talking about deeper data analysis, hyper-personalized experiences, and the rise of AI and machine learning. Buckle up, things are about to get really interesting.
We were just talking about some of the challenges of customer retention automation, especially the importance of data security. It's a serious topic. And it makes me think of those data breaches we hear about in the news. How can businesses make sure they're doing everything they can to protect customer information?
Data security is non-negotiable. When you're working with sensitive customer information, it's like building a fortress to protect your most valuable assets. You need strong passwords, encryption, firewalls, and regular security audits to make sure there are no vulnerabilities. But it's not just about technology, it's also about training your employees to recognize phishing scams and other social engineering tactics that hackers use.
It sounds like data security is a multi-layered approach, and it involves technology, training, and vigilance. But assuming we've got the security part down, I'm really curious about what the future holds. You mentioned AI and machine learning earlier. Are we stepping into the realm of science fiction here? Are we talking about robots taking over customer service?
It might sound futuristic, but AI is already transforming the customer retention landscape. We're not talking about replacing humans with robots, but rather using AI to augment human capabilities and make us more efficient and effective. Think of it as having a super smart assistant that can analyze massive amounts of data, identify patterns, and help you make better decisions.
Okay, so it's about humans and AI working together, not one replacing the other. What are some concrete examples of how AI is being used in customer retention today? How is it helping businesses understand and engage their customers in new ways?
One of the most exciting applications of AI is predictive churn modeling. Imagine being able to predict which customers are most likely to leave before they even think about it. AI algorithms can analyze past behavior, engagement patterns, and other data points to identify those at-risk customers.
So instead of just reacting to customers leaving, we can now anticipate their needs and take proactive steps to keep them happy. That sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
What kind of data are these AI systems looking at? Are we talking about their purchase history, website activity, or something else entirely?
It's a combination of factors. AI systems can analyze everything from purchase history and browsing patterns to customer service interactions, social media activity, and even demographic data. It's like piecing together a puzzle, looking for those subtle cues that suggest someone might be unhappy or considering taking their business elsewhere.
It's fascinating how AI can connect those dots and reveal patterns that we might not even notice as humans. But once we've identified these at-risk customers, what do we do? Do we send them a discount code or beg them to stay? What's the best way to intervene and win them back?
That's where the real strategy comes in. The key is to intervene in a personalized and meaningful way. Instead of a generic "we miss you" email, you could send them a targeted offer based on their past purchases or interests. Or you could reach out to them through their preferred communication channel, whether that's email, social media, or even a phone call.
So it's about understanding their individual needs and preferences and tailoring the intervention accordingly. It's not just about throwing discounts at them. It's about showing that you care and you're listening. But how do we ensure that these interventions feel genuine and helpful, not manipulative or desperate?
That's where empathy and human intuition come in. While AI can provide valuable insights, it's ultimately up to humans to design and deliver those interventions in a way that feels authentic and respectful. It's about striking the right balance between data-driven insights and human understanding.
AI provides the insights, but it's the humans who add the heart. I like that. But even with the best intentions, some customers might still decide to leave. Is there anything we can do to learn from those who churn and use those lessons to improve our retention efforts in the future?
Absolutely. Every customer who churns is an opportunity to learn and grow. You can conduct exit interviews, analyze feedback surveys, or even track social media sentiment to understand why they left and what you could have done differently.
So it's not just about preventing churn, it's also about learning from it and using those insights to refine your strategies. But is AI the only force shaping the future of customer retention? What other trends should we be keeping an eye on?
AI is a major player, but there are other exciting developments on the horizon. One trend I'm particularly excited about is the increasing emphasis on user experience, or UX.
UX, that's all about making things easy and enjoyable to use.
Right. But how does UX relate to customer retention? Aren't those separate concepts?
They might seem distinct, but UX plays a crucial role in customer retention. Think about it. If your website is clunky, your app is confusing, or your checkout process is a nightmare, people are going to get frustrated and leave. But if every interaction with your brand is smooth, intuitive, and enjoyable, they're much more likely to stick around.
So it's about removing those friction points and creating a delightful experience from start to finish. It makes sense. If it's a joy to interact with your brand, people will naturally want to come back for more. But how do we make sure our UX is truly top-notch? It's just about having a pretty website and a user-friendly app. It's more than just aesthetics. It's about understanding your customer's journey, identifying their pain points, and designing experiences that anticipate their needs and exceed their expectations. It involves user research, testing, and constant iteration.
It sounds like creating a great UX is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. It's about listening to your customers, observing their behavior, and continuously improving the experience. But with all the focus on AI and UX, are we forgetting about the power of good old-fashioned human connection?
Not at all. In fact, social media is becoming an even more powerful tool for customer retention. It's not just about marketing your products, it's about building communities, offering support, and engaging with customers where they already spend their time.
So it's about being present, responsive, and authentic on social media. It's about building relationships, not just broadcasting messages, but with so many social media platforms and so much noise. How do we cut through the clutter and create meaningful connections with our customers?
That's the challenge, isn't it? It's not enough to just have a presence on social media. You need to be strategic and intentional about how you engage. It's about creating valuable content, responding to comments and messages promptly, and participating in relevant conversations.
It's about showing that you're a real person, not just a faceless brand. But with all this talk about technology and trends, I'm wondering if we're overcomplicating things. Is there a risk that we're getting so caught up in the latest tools and tactics that we're losing sight of the fundamentals of customer retention?
That's a great point. With all the shiny new toys out there, it's easy to get distracted. But at the end of the day, customer retention boils down to building genuine relationships and delivering exceptional value.
It's about understanding your customers, anticipating their needs, and exceeding their expectations. And that's something that technology can enhance, but it can't replace. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I have one more question. Before we took a pause, I was curious about using automation, not just to react to customers leaving, but to predict and potentially prevent it. What can you tell us about that?
It's a fascinating area. Imagine having a system that flags those customers most likely to churn, giving you a chance to turn things around. We're talking about predictive churn modeling, and it's already being used by savvy businesses to get ahead of the curve.
Okay, I'm all ears. How does this predictive churn modeling actually work? Does it involve a crystal ball or some sort of mind-reading technology?
No crystal balls needed, just good data and smart algorithms. That starts with gathering the right data points. We're talking about everything from their purchase history and website behavior to how often they contact customer service and even what they're saying about your brand on social media.
So it's like gathering clues to solve a mystery. What are some of the telltale signs that a customer might be headed for the exit? What should businesses be on the lookout for?
There are a few classic red flags. One is a sudden decrease in engagement. If someone who used to visit your website every day suddenly disappears, that could be a sign that they're losing interest.
Or if they were a regular customer who consistently made purchases, but now they haven't bought anything in months.
Exactly. Another red flag is negative feedback. If a customer leaves a scathing review or vents their frustrations on social media, that's a pretty clear indication that something's wrong.
Those examples make sense, but I'm guessing these AI systems can also pick up on more subtle cues that we might miss as humans. Are there any hidden patterns or signals that they can detect?
Absolutely. AI can analyze the sentiment of customer feedback. Even if it's not explicitly negative, they can also detect changes in browsing patterns or app usage. That might suggest a waning interest they're looking for. Those subtle shifts in behavior, that could signal an impending churn.
It's like having a sixth sense for customer dissatisfaction. But once we've identified these at-risk customers, what's the best way to approach them? Do we just send them a discount code and hope for the best?
That might work sometimes. But a more strategic approach is to personalize the intervention based on their specific needs and concerns. If their engagement is dropped, maybe you offer them a free trial of a new feature or invite them to a webinar that aligns with their interests. If they left a negative review, you could reach out to them directly, acknowledge their feedback, and offer a solution or a make good.
So it's about showing them that you're paying attention, that you value their feedback, and that you're willing to go the extra mile to make things right. It's not about manipulating them into staying. It's about building trust and demonstrating your commitment to their satisfaction.
Exactly. The goal is to proactively address their concerns and re-engage them with your brand. And if you can do that successfully, you might just win back their loyalty and prevent them from churning.
This all sounds incredibly powerful, but I'm also wondering about the limitations. Is predictive churn modeling a foolproof solution? Are there times when it might not be effective?
It's a powerful tool, but it's not perfect. The accuracy of the predictions depends on the quality of the data and the sophistication of the algorithms. And even if you can accurately predict who's likely to churn, it doesn't guarantee that you can convince them to stay.
So it's not a magic bullet. It's one piece of the puzzle. It gives us valuable insights, but ultimately it's up to us to use those insights wisely and create a customer experience that fosters loyalty. What's the most important thing for listeners to keep in mind if they're just starting to explore customer retention automation? What advice would you give them?
Start by truly understanding your customers. Who are they? What do they value? What are their pain points? Once you have a deep understanding of your audience, you can start to build automation strategies that genuinely meet their needs.
That's great advice. It's not about blindly implementing the latest technology. It's about using technology in a way that enhances the customer experience. And remember, customer retention is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about building those long-term relationships that drive sustainable growth.
Couldn't agree more. It's an ongoing journey of learning, adapting, and constantly striving to exceed your customers' expectations.
We've explored a lot of ground today, from the basics of CRR to the mind-blowing possibilities of AI and the importance of the human touch. It's been an insightful deep dive into the world of customer retention automation.
Absolutely. We've only scratched the surface. But hopefully this deep dive has given you a solid foundation and inspired you to explore how automation can transform your business.
So to our listeners out there who are ready to automate their way to customer loyalty, take what you've learned today and start experimenting. What are you most excited to automate in your business? Let us know. Until next time, keep diving deep.
Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.